St Mary's Parish Church sits high up on the east cliff, heavy set overlooking the harbour town of Whitby at the mouth of the River Esk, with the ruins of the former Benedictine abbey behind it. From the cliff-top churchyard are sweeping views of the dramatic coastline heading north and out to the North Sea. St Mary's Church specifically has, and to little surprise, drawn a lot of attention for its architectural peculiarity, just as the town's broader topographical setting attracted the Victorian literati. The church and its churchyard feature as a notable backdrop for some of the most chilling early encounters with Count Dracula in chapters 7 and 8 of Bram Stoker's novel Dracula, published in 1897. So before heading inside the church itself to see an interior quite like no other church in England, here are a few short quotes from Dracula in which the church and churchyard feature. The churchyard is first mentioned in a cutting from a fictional newspaper at the start of chapter 7, following one of the greatest storms on record and the arrival in Whitby of a Russian schooner called the Demeter. An immense dog shot up and, running forward, jumped from the bow on the sand, making straight for the steep cliff where the churchyard hangs over the laneway to the east pier so steeply that some of the flat tombstones, thruffsteins or throughstones as they call them in the Whitby vernacular, actually project over where the sustaining cliff has fallen away. It disappeared in the darkness. Then, perhaps most memorably in chapter 8, with an extract from Mina Murray's journal, it reads, "For a moment or two I could see nothing as the shadow of a cloud obscured St Mary's Church. Then as the cloud passed I could see the ruins of the abbey coming into view, and as the edge of a narrow band of light as sharp as a sword cut moved along, the church and churchyard became gradually visible. It seemed to me as though something dark stood behind the seat where the white figure shone and bent over it. What it was, whether man or beast, I couldn't tell." Walking around the building, it is a great medley of Georgian architectural adaptations within a predominantly medieval space, extended and played around with to great effect. The Pevsner Guide for the North Riding describes it as hard to believe and impossible not to love, and dedicates 2 full pages to describing the interior and its furnishings alone. Many Anglican church buildings across the country underwent substantial phases of reordering and alteration in the later Georgian period, when attitudes towards the architecture of church buildings was predominantly aimed at seating the greater number of persons to hear the voice of the reader and preacher, and this is reflected here in the innumerable box pews and galleries. Though the church is one of the most visited in North Yorkshire, it is hardly the most visitor-friendly. The box pews are variously dated, on high platforms of different levels, even some with small memorial tablets embedded along the profiled flat ends. There are doors marked as free seats, some are for strangers, and some were private pews, such as the Cholmley pew, where traditionally a rood screen might be. Adjacent to that is a 3-decker pulpit which dates from 1778, and it has 2 ear trumpets attached to it on the side. The quantity of galleries is almost beyond comprehension. Some are not galleries, but access balconies to access other galleries from various entrances around the ground plan, and you'll notice from the outside some of the wooden exterior stair sets. People presumably piled in for services from different entrances, an incredible thought today. How did this arrangement almost in its entirety survive overhaul in more recent centuries? An explanation is given some thought in the entry for the church in the revived Pevsner's Architectural Guide, with additional footnotes, where the explanation is that attention in the 19th century focused on new developments and new churches on the more fashionable West Cliff on the other side of the harbour, and that restoration was undertaken here at St Mary's by the ever-sensitive architect W.D. Carrow. St Mary's is one of the most extraordinary parish churches in North Yorkshire, and it's always open to visitors.